Welcome back to the Anorak Entertainment Podcast, everybody. And oh boy, Shang-Chi made some money this weekend. We're going to get into all that. No surprise to myself, but probably a surprise to some other people on the show. But I knew this thing was going to crush. Love this movie so much. But we'll get into all that. So before we get started with anything, we do have a guest today, and we'll introduce him here in just a second. And I'll try to make this fast because I, want to be respectful of his time and everything. But before we get started with anything, we have to start on a very somber note. Cisco and I had a, good conversation, very healthy conversation. He's got some opportunities in his life coming up that are, really exciting for him, and I'm excited for him to try to pursue those opportunities and grow as a person. This is no easy way to say it. Cisco is going to be leaving us, and this is going to be his last show. So very, very, very somber. Cisco, I mean, man, you came through for me. You came through for me when, I don't know why that noise. Sorry, man, I ruined your shit. No, you came through for me, man. We were in a difficult spot here and I needed somebody to step in, and you stepped up and took it, man. I always appreciate that. And I'll let you have the floor on this, but yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks for the introduction though. But yeah, it's like nothing personal or nothing like that. Like, I love doing this with you guys every week. It's literally just like you just said, I have a new job now. I'm moving into a new spot. It's just life shit, where I'm not gonna be able to do this every week like we have been doing. But I told him before, maybe I can guest on here sometimes. I'm still gonna be doing the podcast though. So but yeah, like you said, it's sad for me too, but I'm looking forward to knocking it out tonight, closing out my time here. But yeah, thank you for having me on here too, because it's like I said, it's been fun every week. Looking forward to doing this and talking about the news, which I don't get to really do a lot with normal people, because we're in this film circle. Yeah. So so I appreciate that.
And before we continue any further, I mean, for you, sir, I pull out the Jameson. Just want you to know that. And
me too.
Cheers,
I got
cheers to you. And
I had to tonight too.
Coca-Cola.
Genuinely.
The Coca-Cola to you, sir.
Probably just as strong as whatever we're drinking. So
I mean, genuinely.
A rum and Coke. Hold the rum. My rum and Coke, but we held the rum.
Yeah. I guess Sammy's just going in on the toast with the Coke, so I'm gonna go into. But no, seriously, man, thank you for all of your hard work, effort that you've put into this and helping me build it. It won't be forgotten, and thank you. So cheers to you, sir. Samee, do you got anything you want to add to the toast that you just went ahead and ended? But.
Oh, I mean, it's been really great having you on here. I'm really excited for all of your future endeavors. It's going to be really great. It's going to be really sad not having you here, but I'm also really excited for you. So it's a happy sad. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Of course.
Hats off.
You guys too.
Salutes.
Salute.
Cheers, all the things.
Whew, already downed it.
Oh yeah,
it's good shit, man. I promise, I downed it. It's empty. Not lying to you.
Oh my god, you downed it.
Anyway, so we do have a special guest here today,
though.
And I'm excited to introduce him to all of you guys who may not be familiar with his work. But we have Mike Deacon from What the Show podcast. Mike, how's it going, my man?
Hey.
Oh, doing wonderful. And I missed the memo, so I have a bourbon and Coke, no Coke. So,
I got the Coke.
Easy on the Coke.
I think we got our orders kind of split up a little bit there. Yeah, we went half and half.
We're splitting it.
That's the way things roll around here. So,
how'd you get into
podcasting? How's everybody doing? Thank you for having me.
No problem, man. I've seen a little bit of your show too, man. It's not bad. I mean, how'd you get into podcasting?
So long story short, about 2 years ago, I was at work with my now wife. And it was when Game of Thrones was ending, and a friend of ours said it would be, neither of us really watched it, and a friend of ours was like, it'd be really funny if you two did a review of the last episode without having watched anything else on it. So the two of us got together, we both drank a bottle of wine and then did a review of that. And about a couple months later, some people from our now friends in Call to Action podcast found it and encouraged us to continue it. So during the, when everything shut down, Bethany and I on my own channel started doing movies here and there. And my now partner, AJ Lancaster, messaged me and basically sponsored an episode for us to watch Southland Tales. And after that experience, AJ and I developed a really special bond and wound up getting to talking all the time and just decided, hey, let's try to do something together. And a few months later, we started with the show, and we're going to hit a year next month. So
I'm going to be honest. We asked.
Congrats.
Wow.
It's awesome, man. Really, though, it's great. And I'll be honest. I mean, Samee and I have talked to all sorts of people on the show, and we always ask them, how'd you get into what you're into and how'd you get into what you're doing? I gotta be honest, I did not expect that answer. That was hilarious. That's great though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm being serious.
I didn't know that.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Southland Tales and the finale of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like what an origin story.
Incredible.
Awesome story. But I mean, so were you always a movie fan just growing up, or did that like get you into film a lot more? Just watching.
Oh no, I went, as a child, I was my father took me to all the blockbusters every Sunday morning. And then when I got to college, I actually was a movie theater projectionist for 5 years.
Holy crap. That's cool.
It's been in my blood. And that's one of the cool things. My wife, we were in different states, but she also was a movie theater projectionist. So It just kind of was like, that fit perfectly, but that doesn't exist anymore.
Same theater?
Yeah. No, he said different states.
Oh, different states. I missed that part. I'm sorry, buddy. I was just saying.
Yeah, I was just outside of Washington D.C. at the time, and she was in Florida. So we wound up meeting.
Great.
Quite a few years later, but still, it's kind of ironic considering that state that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, well, you guys probably had something to connect on, though. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
Oh,
that was probably awesome. I'm glad it wasn't the same state, because I couldn't imagine what would be going on in that projection room.
The competing projectionist.
Romeo and Juliet film projectionists.
We got Regal versus AMC here. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. 2 households.
Yeah. Yep. Man. It's great that you're into it, man, and I do encourage you to keep going. I mean, this is something that's become, stressful.
Having connection issues.
Oh no.
Samee is, or me?
Froze.
Oh, now you're back.
Froze.
No, it was you. You froze.
I froze?
Yeah, you froze.
Yeah.
I froze. Okay,
Yes.
I'm sorry about that. Am I back?
Yeah, you're
back
good.
Okay, sorry
Yes.
about that. No, it's great that you're into this, and I think all of us here could speak to it. It does become stressful from time to time, but I do encourage you to keep going with it, man, and I hope you do. I mean, I want to be respectful of your time, so I want to let you jump into some of this news with us too.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi killed it this weekend. Did you get a chance to see
Absolutely.
that, Mike?
Yes, I did.
And what'd you think?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Great.
I went to that theater having seen the hype. Everybody said that it was, one of the best origin stories, and it lived up to everything everybody said. I walked out of that theater with a big, huge smile on my face and excited. The one thing with that movie, especially with these current Marvel movies, like, you want to enjoy this one and also enjoy the ride it's taking you on, and where you're seeing where this is going is very exciting. So
yeah, I'll ask you this too, because this is one of the things that I felt watching this one, in contrast to a lot of other Marvel movies, is this felt like the first one in a long time that was kind of just like, sit back, have a good time with it. Like there wasn't like there was a lot going on, don't get me wrong, but they seemed to cram it into like what I just felt to be like one big, beautiful, glorious piece of action. And like, it's been a long time since we've had one of those that was just so well made, so well filmed. I'm sure you agree, but like, on the other side of this, there is that small pocket of audience members that really did not enjoy Shang-Chi this weekend. Cisco, what up?
Damn, put me on the spot here. Yeah, it's we did a Saturday matinee episode on it this last weekend, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. I didn't like hate it. I feel like, because we were talking about that on Movie Buffs too this week. Like, I feel like because the reaction is like so positive that even me like being like mixed on it is like, oh my god, like why do you hate this movie?
Oh, I don't think you hate it. I don't think you hate it. I didn't get that from your review. I just
yeah. Well,
yeah.
Yeah, that was like one of my coworkers basically like, what did you want from it? Like she was so mad at me, and I was just like, well, it's just the Marvelness of it, of the CGI fights, especially like towards the end. And then me and Edwin, like, even he was more positive on it than me, but he even agreed that like a lot of the exposition in the middle was just like really boring and dry. Like but I said like what kind of saved it for me a little bit was like I loved like the first like half of it, like the first hour of it. I did like legit love and was like on board. I just don't think they delivered on the promise of it. But the bus scene was like legit great. I love that. That was my favorite part. And I think the character of Shang-Chi and Awkwafina and their dynamic, I'm looking forward to what comes next with them. Like I think they're good characters. I just wish they were in a better movie. That was just my only thing. But I'm happy that this is like positive representation. You know, and that it did break the Labor Day weekend record, which was previously held by Rob Zombie's Halloween, which it's a very divisive film.
$30 million.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was the previous. Yeah. And so yeah, I'm happy about all that, and I'm happy about the moment. I just don't like, you know, I've been having arguments or conversations this whole week of like people being like, I liked it more than Black Panther, and I'm just like, you guys are nuts. I don't agree with that, but yeah, I'm happy for everyone that liked it though.
I'll say, man, I mean, like Black Panther and Doctor Strange are taking the cake for me, I think, still, but I put Shang-Chi in a pretty comfortable number 3 slot. But Samee, you look at the numbers and you look at, you know, $30 million is the past record on Labor Day weekend, and then you also got to look at the fact that we've had a really rough year and movies just are not breaking out. You look at the failure of Suicide Squad, which granted had the HBO Max thing going on at the same time, but still with this really rough year, Samee, I mean, what do you think it was about Shang-Chi that really made it break through?
You know, to be honest, I think the thing about Shang-Chi that made it break through is that it was not available on Disney Plus. I'm not gonna lie a little bit. That's I think the elephant in the room. That's the big caveat. I'm kind of more on Cisco's side. I did enjoy the movie but I have critiques for it for different reasons than like the things that I didn't like about it were different than the things you didn't like about it. But I think a big thing is that you had to see it in theaters, and then B, there was so much hype about it going in, so much that it was like it was impossible not to be excited about this movie if you were a Marvel fan.
Sure. I mean,
did I freeze?
No. Oh yeah, you must have if you had more.
Am I
sorry
frozen?
about that.
Am I lagging?
Yeah, keep going.
Good. Sorry. Are you here, Samee?
Am I lagging? Oh, okay.
She's probably lagging.
I think I'm lagging on my end.
Okay.
If you can hear me.
Yeah. Did you have more to add?
We still hear you though. Just keep doing. What did you not like?
Okay.
About
You still hear me though?
Yeah.
Oh, for me it was the director. I didn't like.
Really?
Okay, we lost her completely. I don't know what happened there. I'm so sorry about that, everybody. We'll try to continue this without her for now. Hopefully she can come back.
What's his name? Daniel David Cretton.
Destin Daniel Cretton.
Director, right?
Destin Daniel Cretton.
Destin Daniel.
I mean, still with that, I'm surprised to hear that. I don't think that there's a trouble with the directing personally. I think that the directing was fairly solid. But I'm in the majority. You know, I do love this movie. I barely any flaws with it. Samee's coming back.
Yeah, we're in the minority. Like the hype is real.
Like you do understand. You're in a small pocket.
Loud.
You're in a small pocket.
Yeah.
So, right now it's
not the first time. It's not the first time.
Definitely not. And I'm not dissing you, but you know, I just think that we gotta. The buck stops at Free Guy for us today, or Cisco, because like I mean we really haven't been able to find much that we've agreed on so much. Green Knight. We had Green Knight that we both agreed on. You know, we both really liked that.
Really solid.
We both agreed. There was one other one we both thought sucked this year, I think.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. We both thought sucked. That's right.
We both hated that
one. Yeah. Mike
Am I
Strong.
back?
Yeah.
We're back. It kicked me out.
Yeah.
It kicked me. It literally just kicked me out.
That was
It just
Kevin
exited
Feige.
out. Exited me out
That
of
was
the Zoom
Kevin
call.
Feige
Definitely.
and
It was literally, this was Kevin Feige. That was the Mickey Mouse. That was the rat god
Yeah.
coming to curse me. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you
Cisco's.
talk about
I didn't
Creighton?
like the director. But that was my main point. All of my issues I feel like come back to like director's choices, and the script I feel like was a little messy for me.
Was it like the
Like I said,
action?
there was
The how he directed the
no,
action, or
not
what?
the action.
I was gonna say,
I
that's
really like the fight
top-notch.
choreography,
It's
and I like the
amazing.
action. The action was really cool. I liked the way it was very like aesthetically.
So just
pretty.
visually?
It was very visually it was pretty. The things I mean are like acting choices and kind
Whoa.
of moments that things have, like sequencing of things, and some kind of like
the
like
pacing of it?
character moments and things, and pacing. There was a lot of the thing where I've talked about this a lot, that I hate in movies when they just like tell me something where they could have shown it. There was a lot of times where they were just giving me
Cisco had that
information,
critique.
and I can, and like me
Yeah.
sitting there and I'm like, if you were to ask me how could you show this instead of telling you, I could give you, like, I could tell you how to put that into a scene.
Yeah.
So it's insane that like as an audience member, I'm sitting there like, I know how you could show this. Why aren't you showing me? But it was a lot of movie and a lot of information. It was.
That's 2 hours and 12 minutes.
It was a
It
lot.
could have been cut a little bit
Yeah.
too.
I
Without
feel like there was two movies going on for me was the big thing.
without going
There was
into
like without going into spoilers.
Well, without
There
make
was-
sure we don't go
there
into
was
spoilers.
two-
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt like there were two different movies going on. There was like
Agreed.
Shang-Chi's childhood
Yeah.
and Shang-Chi's adulthood for me. And it wasn't blended together as nicely as I feel.
Yeah, I like the first half movie more than the second half movie.
Well-
And I like the second movie better too. Me too, of them older. Yeah.
Mike, what do you got?
yeah.
What do you got,
Like,
Mike?
you know, I get 100% get what everyone's saying here with the movie, because like there was a lot of exposition in this, you
For
know,
sure.
and the ending of it is obviously again, no spoilers, but it's you go from a lot of exposition to a lot of spectacle, two very different dynamics of the first 2/3 of the movie versus the last third of the movie. I myself didn't mind it quite as much, but I can understand the argument, you know, because you are getting very, very shifting tones, especially with the way that it ends.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I don't disagree that there's exposition. I'd have to be a blind man or a deaf man not to hear or see it. Like, because there is exposition, there's quite a bit of it. The way I was looking at it is I don't think there was another way you could have done it. I think for me to make that ending work the way it did and make it as strong as and as powerful as you made it, I think you had to have it. I honestly, like, this is one of the times where I'm not going to critique the exposition. It all worked for me. And I think that the blend of the exposition with the comedy is really what, you know, boosted it up, you know, a little bit, you know, for me is like they constantly blended it with comedic moments, you know, to make it work. There's a lot of stuff about a certain character that not everybody knows is in the movie, so I won't say it, but Samee, I was trolling you so hard last week. But there's a lot of the exposition.
I know.
I knew as well.
But there's
there was one character that I was surprised to see was in this movie in the entirety of the movie, including post-credit scenes.
Right.
It's not a spoiler. Every other character I was like not surprised by. There
Okay.
was one though that got me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, but my point was a lot of that goes on with that certain character, which I'm sure everybody knows, but we're not going to say it anyway, just in case. But a lot of that was done with him, and I think honestly it worked better that you kind of used him as a way into that. I also thought that, you know, through the exposition we were getting great performances. There's a lot of exposition. This isn't really a spoiler, but there's a lot of exposition told through Tony Leung's character, and personally I like the way it was done, because I think that while he was giving exposition, we were kind of getting a vibe off of him. And the vibe with Tony Leung, we know he's the villain, right? But like you on the same hand, like everybody knows that's no secret. But on the same hand,
it's in the trailer.
Absolutely. But on the same hand, in this movie, the way he plays it is like he kind of takes you for a second, like, I don't know how I feel about this guy. And I think a lot of that is because of the exposition, the way he plays the exposition. So this exposition in particular doesn't bother me. When you got great characters or great actors, excuse me, more or less, delivering the dialogue, I'm like, go for it, and especially when you're gonna, give us vibes of the characters through that, whether it be comedic or villainous or menace, whatever you're gonna do. I think it works. I think it absolutely works in this movie. And yeah, I didn't have a problem with it, personally. I just, I thought it was fantastic through and through. Not to say it's a flawless movie. It definitely has flaws. There is a slight pacing issue in the middle act, Cisco. I mean, I agreed with you there. I definitely think that they had a slight pacing issue there. I can kind of see that. I'm not saying you're completely wrong in your assessment, but and one of the complaints, without going into spoilers, again, we'll say this as spoiler free as possible. One of the complaints I continuously hear about this movie, not continuously, just from the small pocket of people who seem to have not enjoyed it, is the ending and how extreme it was. I love that. For me, it was like, if you're going to do it, just do it. Go for it. Go big or go home. That's how you're going to pull me in. But, I thought it was all epic. I loved it. I did not care so much about CGI and things like that in this movie because all looked just so freaking gorgeous that I didn't give a shit. I don't care how much CGI you're throwing in there. Just make it look good, and I thought it looked great.
I thought it looked great. Yeah.
Beautiful CGI. I did not care. Love that whole third act and everything, again, without going into the spoilers, but that's my take. But we do have other things going on in the world today. So let's get into this also. I mean, we did get a trailer for DC Fandom. Doesn't really give us much, but it does at least let us know, yes, absolutely, we're going to have a Fandom this year. Can't remember the release date. Mike, are you a DC guy at all? Is this something you look forward to?
So I'm big into old school DC. I was 6 when Batman '89 came out, and that's one of the most movie experiences that holds with me forever. And I absolutely will always cherish that. I haven't been as big into the newer ones, but DC as a whole, I had a much bigger attachment to DC prior to Marvel. Before the MCU came out, I was a bigger DC fan. Obviously the MCU came out and kind of flipped things up, upside down, but as a whole, I think when it came to the comics and stuff, I was always drawn to DC first. So yeah, absolutely. When they do it right, I absolutely am all in for DC.
Yeah. Is there any recently that you've enjoyed more so than did you watch the Snyder Cut? That's a good question. I mean, did you watch the Snyder Cut? Did you like it? What about Suicide Squad? I mean, a lot of people high on those.
So I will outright say this: I've never, even with 300, I've never been a Snyder fan.
Yeah, you and Cisco agree there.
So I
like 300 though. So
I just don't like the way he paces movies. Period. So I like Sucker Punch. We went and saw that, and I felt that was one of the most painful movie-going experiences I ever had.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
That's a bad one.
It's horrible.
So I didn't subject myself to Snyder Cut, but I did it. I enjoyed some of the DC movies. I thought, I had fun with the Suicide Squad. I very much enjoyed Birds of Prey. Shazam was fun. They weren't all terrible, but
I thought. First of all, I thought Birds of Prey was underrated, personally. Especially when
it still is.
Yeah,
it is.
People don't talk about it enough.
Yeah, when you put it up against the rest of their movies, I mean, it's miles ahead of them. It definitely is.
First Wonder Woman too.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's great. I mean, Wonder Woman's another fantastic thing. I mean, does the idea though, Mike, of having Michael Keaton come back into this, I mean, does that get you excited at all? And are you hoping to see some Flash stuff at this Fandom?
That's my Batman. So yes, absolutely, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think we all are. And the other thing, Cisco, that a lot of people are nervous about with the Flash movie is Andy Muschietti taking over. I mean, how did you feel about the It movies? Do you think that he can knock it out of the park with this? I mean, a lot of people liked It 1. It 2, though, it caused some division. So do you think he can do it this time? You think he's going to show some good stuff?
Yeah, I'm a fan overall. Like you mentioned It 1 and 2. I was a huge fan of the first It. And even 2 I was generally positive on, although I had some issues with it. Like again, coming back to CGI, there's one thing that I would kind of critique him as a director. It is the overuse of CGI. And that goes even back to his movie Mama, which I thought also kind of suffered from that, even though the rest of it is like super good. So I would just say, like, you know, hopefully he's growing in like visually into like better tendencies than that. That's the only thing that kind of worries me. But just as far as like the casting news and like he's a very visual director, so like in terms of like something that I'm looking forward to, I think, you know, there's potential there. I still think, yeah, I'm excited for it. And Keaton coming back, like, I'm super excited about that too.
Yeah. I'll say this about It Chapter 2. And by the way, your critique on CGI in this case in particular, I definitely agree with. But I'll say this about It Chapter 2. If anything, he does know how to be expansive. You know, maybe a little too expansive in that case, but he definitely knows how to be expansive.
Well, the book is like 1,200 pages.
Exactly.
To be fair,
you're right. 100%. But you know, I think, you know, that's one thing we can give him credit to, is he definitely knows how to be expansive. And I think to bring in maybe like a Flashpoint based story into the universe of DC, I think you definitely need somebody like that with those sensibilities, who can really be expansive to the point where it's like, I'm still going to let the audience understand what's going on. And I think that while It Chapter 2 to some may have been divisive and confusing or convoluted, maybe sometimes, it's definitely never confusing at the very least. You know what I mean? It's definitely never that. It's accessible enough. So
we're gonna see Supergirl. They announced Supergirl's gonna be in it.
Awesome.
Excited about that.
Yeah, it could be really cool. Samee, are there any other upcoming DC properties that you're excited about in particular?
Oh my gosh, the Batman is the big one. I cannot wait for Robbie Bats is what I call him. Robbie Bats. I cannot wait to see him as Batman, Robbie Pattinson. It's gonna be so good. I just feel it in my soul that I am gonna love this movie. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be a young, gritty.
It's gonna break film Twitter, honestly.
Traumatized Bruce Wayne. Oh my guys, this movie's gonna break film Twitter. You guys remember the Joker, but imagine the Joker, but if like he was a little less problematic.
Right.
It's gonna break film Twitter. That is correct.
Yeah. I mean, the trailer already
I will
did,
be a part
so.
of it. Yeah, and I'll be with you. I'll be on it.
It looks very similar to the old, you know, the original idea of what Batman was when he first was introduced into the Detective Comics. So they've never portrayed him like this on screen before. So it's exciting to see something different. You know, it's the same character, but seeing a different take on him is refreshing.
Are they going to play, question for all you guys, are they going to play the Nirvana song in the actual movie? What is it? Something in the Way? Would you guys be down for that?
I'd be surprised if it wasn't in the credits. And I'd be down.
Or is that just a trailer?
If they use it right,
I love that song.
It's a good song. Yeah, I'd be down if they did it. I'm definitely not against it. So,
but look at like when Watchmen came out and they had the awesome use of the beginning is the end of the beginning by Smashing Pumpkins. That wasn't in the movie, but it was used for the trailer brilliantly. Like that trailer was fantastic. The movie itself didn't hit for me, but that trailer was brilliant.
Well, the opening sequence was still really good too. It was a different song though, but I think most people agree that opening sequence is
Bob Dylan. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
And like I loved the first Suicide Squad movie, the first trailer for it with I Started a Joke. Over at that, I watched the shit out of that trailer. I was
the trailer's way better than the movie.
That trailer was better than the movie for sure. Way better.
Which happens.
Oh,
it happens.
God. It happens.
I mean, Mortal Kombat. To bring it back around, Mortal Kombat trailer had us both excited. And then that movie, woof.
Oh yeah.
Not good.
Oh yeah. Let me break here in the middle. I'm going to tell you all about Spotify. I don't like Dom smoking, says the internet. Well, guess what? You don't got to watch me smoke. You go over to Spotify, you get the audio-only versions of the show, and you can follow us there, and it's all good. So fuck you. All right, here we go.
How do you guys think he gets that sultry voice?
That's got to be it, right?
Gravel has to come from somewhere.
He does the the old school 50s newscasters method of just chain smoking on air all the time.
It works, people.
One more perk.
Not broke, don't fix it.
One more perk. If you go over to Spotify, I got to get on this and stay on top of it more, but you will get versions of this show earlier, or same version, but the audio only version. You'll get it early most of the time. So that's another perk for y'all out there. Mike, what do you got coming up that's exciting on What the Show? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So we've actually, for those of you who are Schmodown fans, on Wednesday the 8th, we have Brother Lomas joining us. And so that's going to be, I have no idea what to expect out of that one.
Yeah.
But one thing that is cool, I can share with you all in 3 weeks, we're all, the whole gang plus a couple of other people in space are all coming out to Orlando to come visit us. So we'll all be together in the same room to do some content. That'll be at the beginning of October. So that's something we're very, very excited about because
spooky season.
Yep. We're all going to Halloween Horror Nights, spoiler alert.
Oh,
there you go.
But,
oh my God, it's the best.
Yeah. Well, I've met Justin the Juice. I've not yet met AJ. Justin the Juice came to my wedding, but we've got the two of them are coming down. We've got our if you know Schmo Me the Money, Jeff Alterman is coming down, and then someone I'm sure you all know, Chance Ellison, is coming as well. So all of us are going to be together for a long weekend. So that's going to be interesting. You're definitely going to see lots of footage of that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see the content from that.
Yeah.
Well, that's big stuff, man. Good for you. Congratulations, and that's that's extremely exciting. So happy to hear it, man. Happy to hear you pushing forward, man. So that's going to be cool. So another piece of news I wanted to bring up while Sammy's losing her goddamn mind trying to schedule a movie night for this.
Oh my gosh,
Venom
that was
2.
the first thing I did.
Venom 2.
Thing I did was reschedule the movie.
Yeah. Venom 2 got pushed now to October 1st again, or got pushed again.
Why won't they let there be carnage, guys?
I know, right? Just let there be
They
carnage.
really said let there be carnage.
Yeah, no, I mean, Mike, are you excited for Venom? Are you a fan of this franchise? What's your take?
Venom, what I like about Venom, like Venom is not the type of movie that you can necessarily say you're excited about, but Venom knows what it is. And because of that, like that last movie, you're not going in there expecting a masterpiece, but you've got Tom Hardy just jumping headfirst into it, and more so than headfirst, he's getting his whole body thrown into it and just going completely bonkers into the role. And because of that, it is in no way, shape, or form a masterpiece, but it's a fun movie to watch.
I agree.
Fair enough. I mean, I'll say this. I don't like the movie. It's not the version of Venom I would have wanted, but it's okay. Right. I understand. Like, I'll say this for it. The moments that I think are great, the moments I think are great are moments that I want to see again. And I think a lot of other people like agreed on that. Like the moments that are there that are great, they're moments you want to see again. They're good enough for that, but there just wasn't enough of it for me. But a lot of people loved it. It was a smash hit. So I'm sure this one will, make some kind of money. So, I mean, whatever. But Cisco, do you think this move is, in direct correlation with Shang-Chi just absolutely killing it in the box office?
Well, what is it? Sony is Venom?
Yeah,
right.
Sony.
Am I getting that right?
Sony, yeah.
Well, like because that's not the only one either. Like Paramount pushed back a lot of their stuff too. You know what I mean? Like Jackass 4 is next year now, and I know like a bunch of their stuff that was supposed to come out this year is next year. So
like everything.
Yeah. I think it's like. Yeah, I don't think it's that. It's just some studios are just playing it differently than other ones. I mean, that maybe that could be part of it but you would think like a superhero movie doing so successful, they would be like happier to release it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That people are paying to see superhero movies, but I think they're just being cautious again. So dude, if they move Bond again though, that's the one like I would just die if they move Bond again. Like
please don't.
Could I see this Craig Bond one? Like
I just want to see it already. Please.
Yeah, and for Sammy, I mean, on this subject, I mean, when exactly are we going to do the Venom movie night?
So it's October. Let me look. I can pull it up. I literally
Venom.
just pulled it up. October. So October 4th is the movie night, so it comes out the Friday before October. So October 1st?
First.
October
Yeah.
1st, then
All
yes,
right.
that Friday.
Exciting
Of
stuff.
October.
All right.
Yep.
I doubt it'll actually
Right
happen.
in
But
it's sandwiched between
I know,
Dear
right?
Evan Hansen before that, and then No Time to Die the
All
week
right.
after.
great.
So in like a couple weeks after, like 2
Fingers
weeks
crossed.
after.
Fingers crossed on that.
Fingers crossed, God forbidding.
I definitely got to cram in some more Bond
Yeah.
before that happens. We had some other stories that were sent in here today. One thing I did see, yeah. What you got, Samee? What do you have?
Oh, I was say the Venice Film Festival stories that Spencer is like killing it.
Say.
People are loving it, and then Dune is doing really well too. People are loving it and agreeing with Denis Villeneuve that you need to see it
the
on
hype
the big
train.
Screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hype train started on Dune.
It started.
Yeah, well, I
gotta
mean,
see it on that big screen. That's what they're all saying.
Let's start out with the Dune thing. I mean, Mike, I mean, you're a movie guy. I mean, is Dune something that's on your radar? Are you ready for Dune? Are you excited for it? Or where's your
Dune is something that I think I'm gonna have to go to like when I'm off, like not that I'm going to after work or something like that. Like I want to go see that in a matinee when it's
like an event,
quiet theater, so I can actually pay attention, and not have
like
anything.
Going to a play, like
an
event thing. Yeah,
you know, it's more like Bond is definitely like something I'm more excited for.
Mm-hmm.
Dune is something I'm more curious about. I think it's a better way to put it.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with
same.
that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Cisco, I mean, you kind of had some good opinions on this on your movie night, I think. But you know, your opinions were personal to you, and you know, that's fine. But because you were kind of going over, you know, Shang-Chi, right? Like how the standing ovations and all that, it just doesn't, you know, phase you anymore. I mean, what are your feelings on it?
Yeah, we had a good conversation about that on the episode. Just about, you know, when you go to a festival, there's like that.
I think I said movie night. Let me backtrack. Saturday matinee. I'm sorry, I called your show the wrong thing.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. But yeah, it's Saturday matinee. But yeah, when you go to a festival, like everyone's in a good mood, and then like, you know, because people are seeing it first, they want their blurb up, you know, on the trailers and stuff. So they like, there's certain critics like me and Edwin notice that do this a lot, where like anytime they go see a movie, they have to be like, this is a once in a generation event, like, and it's like so like hyperbole, like you know what I mean? It's just like, so in order to not be disappointed, I kind of just don't even listen to any of the standing ovations. Mean nothing to me at this point, like all of that. Like yes, I know, but generally people are really liking Dune, and I'm like, okay, I mean, I expected that because it's Villeneuve and all his movies. People generally like them, so I'm just gonna go in and like he said, I'm curious about it. I really haven't seen the original yet, and I haven't read the book, so I don't know what to expect. I kind of am like, I like that at this point, and I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, there are movies I'm kind of more excited about. That being said, though, like around that same time, I think the same weekend the Wes Anderson one comes out, and then
fun.
the
French Dispatch.
French Dispatch, and I think
that looks good. Yeah,
you know, we were thinking of doing, because on Saturday matinee, because we pair movies together, you know, the obvious choice would have been the original Dune and the new Dune, but because that weekend is so stacked, I think we're just going to do French Dispatch and Dune and just do like a new release episode, because that's such a huge weekend this year.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll tell you for myself, I'm kind of on the opposite of you guys. I definitely am looking forward to Dune more. I am a Denis Villeneuve fan through and through. I just don't expect him to let me down. With Bond, it's like I'm hit or miss with the Daniel Craig films. So for me, it's like I trust Denis over the Daniel Craig Bond movies. I am excited for Bond. I don't want to take that away.
Been every other though.
Excited.
It's just the dangling fruit of it. Yeah. We've had to wait so long for Bond.
True.
I think that's what it is, because I agree with you. The Craigs are like 50-50 for me. Yeah. But and Villeneuve has like rarely ever disappointed me. But it's just the fact of, I'm hoping is good. I'm hoping they close his series out, if this is his last one.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Dune, it's like I said, I don't know what to expect, keeping the expectations low.
Right. Right. No, I mean, it's true on one end. I mean, like, I have heard that word standing ovation thrown out a lot, but I will say my Shang-Chi screening actually did have a standing ovation a couple weeks ago. I wasn't lying to you about that. That's
Wow.
100% real. People were buzzing about that thing on the way out of the theater. It really got loud in there a couple times because people's excitement. But a trailer that we were given a lot of shit to last week, and this is another one of those things with a standing ovation. I'll go to Mike on this first. This is a movie called Spencer. I mean, Mike, are you kind of into the like more indie film world a little bit more, or is that hit or miss?
Yeah. Very hit and miss with the indie films. Like right now, I would put Pig as one of my top 5 of the year.
Oh, Pig was so good.
Yeah.
I just saw it. It was so good.
Let's do it.
So good.
They're so hit and miss with me. Sometimes I absolutely adored Pig. They don't always hit with me that way, but that when they do, a lot of times I really do enjoy the contrast of a movie such as that. That's a smaller movie that's more introverted and intricate. Does storytelling with a less is more approach. I do appreciate that, especially after watching something like a Dune or a Shang-Chi where it's all spectacle, and then you go to something like that. They don't always hit with me, but that one did.
I'll tell you, man, this is actually really cool you brought this up because I was doing some research because I knew I was having you on the show, so I wanted to watch some of your prior stuff, and I listened to your Pig discussion, and I rented it immediately after, so appreciate that. I loved it, man. So just saw it.
Check it out.
It's pretty fresh. It's amazing. I think it might be Cage's
really
best
I feel like I've seen the
performance.
trailer. It sounds really
might be Nicolas Cage's best performance. Like I know that might be like
I'm just waiting for it to
great.
hit Redbox, and then I'm about to rent it. I'm just waiting.
But I mean, still, when it comes to Spencer, Samee, I wanted to get to you on this because what we saw last week does not scream standing ovation. And I mean, do you does that raise your excitement at all, the fact that you hear that? I mean, at all?
It does raise my excitement because at least there are some people who thought it was good. Again, that's a big thing that I think about too, that at these film festivals the energy is very heightened. They're really trying to get you to like the movie. There's a lot of incentive for you to like the movie and to tell people that you like the movie. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. But people are saying that it's really great. They're saying that it's a very, candid view of Princess Diana, which again, like I said last show, I am like obsessed with Princess Diana.
Yeah.
So if this is gonna be like, all I want is for this to be like a new kind of take, or to tell me something new, or to show me a different version of her that is not normally seen, or that I don't even know about. And that's what people are saying that it is. But I'll be the judge of that. But it does give me hope that it could be good. I am excited for it. I'm hyped. I have hype for it.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued, very intrigued.
Yeah. Cisco, did you catch the Spencer trailer yet? We were kind of talking about it last week.
Speaking of film Twitter blowing up, how could I not see it? Like when that dropped, that was just all day.
They did.
It's the Keira Knightley School of Acting. That
Kristen
Stewart's a proud graduate.
Loud and proud, and they were out there. So she said like 2 words, and but that's good. I don't know. It's another one. I don't know what to expect. I am just completely clueless about the Diana story, like pretty much. So I don't know anything about it. Really. Vaguely I remember like certain stuff, but so I'm just I'm going into it with like a blank slate, not knowing what to expect. Even though I know that's a very popular, subject.
One of the most famous historical figures of the modern age, but don't worry about it. She's the most photographed woman of all time, but don't worry about it.
But I'm looking forward to the movie,
that's gonna be interesting,
guiding me through that, because that's what good movies can do when they're about like figures like that. And his Pablo Larraín, I didn't get to see his last movie like Jackie, but I also heard that's kind of what he does about Jackie Kennedy. and that one's a good portrayal as well. So I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Like, I'm a Kristen Stewart fan. Like, you know, it's the whole, like, because she's in Twilight, you know, that's such a tired like thing at this point. Like, I think people that are in the film world like us, like, just know that she just is a great actress. Like, that was just such a long time ago, and she's proven herself. Same thing with Robert Pattinson. Like, it's just you know, a regular person being like the Twilight guy in Batman. Like, it's like, just like, you guys are just not, you're not tuned in.
10 years ago now.
You're not tuned in.
It's been so long. Get out of here. I will say though, as a proud Twilight fan for a very, very long time, they are like, people were doing like Oscar buzz for Kristen Stewart, and if Kristen Stewart wins an Oscar, I would be so happy and excited.
I'd be surprised if she doesn't get nominated. Just
she
because
will probably
of
get nominated.
The figure, like the story of it.
See that.
And just I've heard it's like a really meaty like Oscar performance from her.
And Natalie Portman did win the Oscar for playing Jackie. So if it's anything like that, there's a precedent for they like that. This is an Oscar. This has Oscar written all over it. She's definitely getting a nomination.
I heard Will Smith might finally win an Oscar too for King
I literally was about to say the same thing.
Yep.
Which
is,
I
mean,
really
I really want him to, man. Like, he's such a great actor. The fact he doesn't have an Oscar at this point, I'm like, I fucking hope he wins.
he needs one on his mantle, man. I mean, he really does. But you know, the problem is he's come out with so many Oscar bait movies that have just, you know,
the Oscar movies haven't been that great.
No, I mean,
the Oscar movies haven't been as good as the blockbusters.
You look at I thought Concussion was really good personally. You look at something like Focus, which I thought was okay. I didn't think it was as bad as some people said it was, but it was an okay outing. It wasn't Oscar worthy by any means. And then
Ali wasn't great, even though he got nominated.
Yeah, and then he had exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then you have, you know, Collateral Beauty, which I thought was a piece of shit. That movie was horrible. And it had the great Edward Norton in it, for crying out loud, and that couldn't even do it. So it's like he's at this time in his life where he should really, you know, definitely put one on his mantle. And I hope this King Richard movie doesn't shit the bed. I hope it's 100% great, and I hope this is it. It looks great, but so did Collateral Beauty. I thought Collateral Beauty was going to be all over the Oscars. And when I saw the trailer, and then the movie
I love sports movies though. I think this will like I love sports stories or whatever too. And I'm looking forward to that aspect of it. Like, so I'm thinking that could sway me to making it, even though Concussion technically was one. I still haven't seen that one.
It's really good
because I heard bad things about it.
I know. I liked it a lot. A lot of people didn't really like it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good, and his performance is worth watching it alone. I didn't think it was a bad movie at all. But cut short. That was my biggest critique. I thought the ending could have been a lot better. It was definitely cut short. But the other thing I'll go into here is the new Aquaman costume. We did get a picture that came out. But did you guys get a chance to look at it? I'll start with Mike. And did you like the first Aquaman?
That was like probably like right in the middle for me. I didn't love it, didn't hate it, you know.
James Wan.
It was kind of like maybe a little bit more towards thumbs down than thumbs up, but it didn't hit me as visceral hate as some of the other ones.
Yeah.
I'm on the same.
You know, there's fun moments, and he understands the role, obviously. So with a tighter script, a little bit shorter runtime, you know, I think there is something potentially there with Aquaman. It's just the first movie was bloated.
Yeah. Well, as the person that agrees with me that the film was fantastic, Cisco, did you think it was necessary for a costume change, and what did you think of the new costume? My internet's lagging, guys. I'm sorry. I got a storm outside. Go ahead, Cisco. I'm sorry. You're back. We got a lag.
Okay, we that's another one we agree on. Like, we were talking about James Wan at the beginning. Like, we're all James Wan fans here, and I think that's just something that happens in superhero movies. Like, you know, if you watch like even the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, everyone has a different Spider-Man outfit. Like that's just something you have to expect when you're, when you're watching these superhero, even like Wonder Woman. It's like every movie they have to kind of switch it up. Like, and any superhero franchise is going to be a different outfit. And so I like the black.
Merchandising. That's what it's all about.
But just visually too, though,
you
it's
can't
like
have
it makes
Aquaman
things
2
interesting.
toys that look the same as the first one. Come on. That's where.
But visually, it gives the costume designers some room to play with. You know what I mean? And like some different stuff to look at. So I like the black like look of it. Even though someone did point out, and I like if you zoom in, you can kind of see it. It's kind of funny. Like the abs on the new outfit are like way more pronounced, like than the original outfit. Like the original kind of just looked like a plate or something, but if you look at the new ones, it's like straight up like the outlines of abs. Like which is like what they someone put a picture of George Clooney's Batman, which is what they tried to do with that like outfit on top of the bat nipple. Nipples. So that's kind of weird, I think, but the color and just like I just love the texture of his outfit. So that was cool. I mean, it's like when they did Spider-Man Noir in Spider-Man Far From Home, like that, the Spider Noir outfit. Like I just like that, the variations.
Listen, I mean, I'm not like a costume like griper guy, like so many people like to gripe on costumes. I will say this. I like the first one better. Personally, I do like this new one. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna gripe on it. It's not gonna ruin the movie for me because
that's the more traditional Aquaman.
Outfit. I got that. I just really like the first one, and it's okay. It's not a big deal. I think that like Sammy was saying, merchandise. So it's you gotta keep that up. So it's understandable. But I'm sure that they'll find a way to justify it in the story, so whatever, it's cool for me. But Sammy, did you like the outfit? And I know you weren't too high on the first Aquaman film like Cisco and myself, but
I feel similarly to how Mike does about the first Aquaman, where it's kind of in the middle. Like I like it, don't hate it, but not my favorite. There's not really the best. But I mean, I do like the change. I mean, the thing that I always remember about before Aquaman came out, or before we saw Aquaman in the DCU, thinking Aquaman was such like a nerdy. Oh, am I back?
You're back. Sorry about that.
I just remember before he was in the DCEU, Aquaman being like, I pictured him as like Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy from SpongeBob. Like it was, Aquaman was just such like there was like Iron Man and Captain America and Spider-Man. Those were superheroes, and then Aquaman was like kind of a joke to me. So I was like, how are you gonna make him cool? And then they got Jason Momoa and they made him they hyper masculized him. You know what I mean? They made him super cool. And the thing was, I was like, because his costume was so dorky to me, that I was like, how are you gonna make that cool? But then in the movie, when I saw his costume, I was like, oh wow, they made it cool. I love to see it. I love being proven wrong. So I mean, so they proved me wrong then, that it was really that you can make it really cool. And I like this new one. It looks cool. Again, I'm sure there's an explanation for it.
I'm sure.
Again, I don't really see a reason to change it other than merchandising.
Exactly.
But
I'm with you. I just like the first one better. Like the one like justified very, and obviously for merchandise as well, but the one that example I'd give is like Black Suit Superman. I thought that was an outfit that actually turned out better than the original, even though the original one is closer to the original one per se. I liked Cavill, sporting that black one. I thought that was really awesome. This time around, it just doesn't have that same effect to where it's like, it's getting me so much more pop. So, I mean, it's cool. But Mike, like outside of, let's talk to you for a little bit while we still have you. I mean, so like outside of, just like the podcasting, I mean, what else are you into? I mean, what other things are you, what kind of hobbies you got?
Well, anybody who follows my wife and I on any socials, we live in Orlando. We're big into the theme park scenes. So we're very regularly there. I can be found almost any night that I'm off this time of year, Halloween Horror Nights. So
Yeah.
if you ever stop by Halloween Horror Nights, there's probably a 50-50 chance there that I'm there.
Yeah.
In terms of, we've been doing the podcast scene for, the past year or so. And obviously, like I said, I've been big into the movie scene as it is part of my whole life. And I've also been, if you want some, little other thing, I'm a big heavy metal guy myself. So
Awesome.
I'm very, very excited that finally going to get to be able to go to some shows again after a year and a half. So
Oh yeah.
I'll be at the big show in Daytona in November. So that'll be nice, especially after having so long without having anything and getting to see, I believe, 60 bands on that weekend. So that'll be nice.
Oh yeah, man. I'm a big fan of the heavy metal shows myself. I like going in. Holy shit, what?
Oh, that's a lot of bands. You said 60.
60 is a lot. 60 is a lot. Yeah.
It's a 4-day festival. It's called Welcome to Rockville. It's at the Daytona Speedway.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. So you did mention Halloween Horror Nights. So you're a big horror guy,
Yeah.
I take it too, or is that just
so like here's the ironic thing with that. Like when it comes to movies, I'm not like that into it, but being there and on top of it, it's something else.
Interesting.
And just experiencing it is something else. And it's also like, again, like I said, being big into the theme parks, the whole production of this, you don't see this at your average like haunted house or something like that. Being at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, the production they do there is next level.
Yeah.
So like just for
professional. Yeah.
Yeah. So like this year they have a house for Beetlejuice. They have a house for the Haunting of Hill House, Bride of Frankenstein, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and all 4 of them look like you're walking through the sets of the movies or the show in Haunting of Hill House in that case.
Right. So I mean, it sounds like you're just a guy that like just appreciates the art of theme parks. Like that's awesome.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It's really, really cool, man. I mean, I'm not a theme park guy myself. It's not that I'm like not open to it, but I don't have any around me, so like I'm never at them, so yeah, it's one of those things. Unfortunately, it's one of the biggest tragedies in my life, so I'm very envious of you, going as much as you do. But on top of that, I mean, is it one of those things too, like where it's like, I mean, is it just the art of the theme parks, or is it like the outdoor aspect, or is it, all of it just kind of combined for you?
Well,
I think a lot of this does go back. I grew up, my family growing up, we were all Disney nuts. And I actually had a phase in my life where I was like, I didn't want to go to the theme parks at all. And then I wound up moving down to Orlando. And I think part of the movie aspect of my life kind of like came back into it, because so much of the parks now are building around IP properties and stuff like that. So if you go there, for example, if you go to Disney's Hollywood Studios and you go on Rise of the Resistance, which is the Star Wars main attraction, it's out of this world. You're not going to have any experience anywhere else in the world like this attraction. You literally are thrown into, the world of basically it's supposed to take place between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, but you're thrown right into it, and it's something completely you're not going to experience that anywhere else. And that's again why I like Halloween Horror Nights so much, is you're experiencing something that you just can't find anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine. I mean, for me, I have an Oculus, but I'm sure it doesn't even compare to actually going to real Star Wars land. So, it's something I've always wanted to do. I am going to take a trip down to Florida this summer, so I'm hoping to, hit up some theme parks, on that trip for sure. But, before, we wrap up here, and we do appreciate your time. We want to be respectful of it. And thank you very much for coming on. But we always offer our guests 2 questions for us. So if you want to go ahead and ask 2 questions, you may.
All right.
Okay.
So let's see, 2 questions ask of you. Okay. So if you could go back into time and have Tommy Wiseau direct any movie, what movie would you choose?
Oh man, that's a really awesome question.
Kane.
Citizen Kane. I was gonna say Casablanca. Just because I'm curious to see how it would go. So fair enough. Good answer. Samee, what do you got?
Oh my god, I think this is that's a great freaking question. I did not think the question was there.
Do we still
Oh
get
my
to
god.
Mike,
Okay, I gotta think
Mike,
about
do we
this
still get to have
because-
the original version of that movie on hand with Tommy Wiseau's version? Because then I would change my answer.
All right, so give me both. Yeah, why not?
All right, cool. All right. Go ahead, Sammy.
Okay.
We still get to have the originals.
Oh my god.
Oh, hi,
Let me
Kane.
think. Oh my god. Look.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Kane.
I can just picture it.
Oh man.
I kind of want to see Tommy Wiseau do like a musical.
Yeah.
Do like I don't know, like Hello Dolly or Guys and Dolls or something, one of those like classic musicals, and just see what he does. Because you know what I mean, like a musical you can get away with a lot more. So I want to give him that freedom and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
All right.
That's
Good
a
enough.
great freaking question.
Yeah, it is a good question, man. Yeah, you do get a second one, so
Yeah, great question.
a really good
All
question.
right, I'll go a little bit more serious than this one. So like something it's come up like on our podcast before, you know, a lot of our favorite movies came out before a lot of our times. If you could go back in time and see something in theaters for the first time that you saw it, what movie would that be?
Ooh.
It's interesting. I would typically tell you Empire Strikes Back, but I've had the opportunity to see that in theaters. My second favorite movie to that is Jaws, and I've actually had the opportunity to see that in theaters. So it would just be the original Star Wars. I would go with that probably. That or the original Halloween.
that's a
The
good
original
answer.
Halloween would be another one that I'd really be curious to see, but I'll let somebody else go. Cisco. He might need time.
I want to see the original Exorcist.
Ooh.
Hear me?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because I want to see people like out, like, leaving the theater.
Yeah,
like
that would be something.
But I heard it's just crazy, like the reactions. You know, people having to go to the hospital and shit. Like, I want to see if that's actually true.
Yeah.
Like, how crazy was it?
Right.
Um,
I have it. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Sammy.
This is true. My father tells the story that he was, oh my God, like a small child when that movie came out, like under 10 years old. And he saw it in Mexico, which like in Mexico, it's like they don't give a shit.
Oh,
like,
boy.
You enter, we don't give a shit.
No matter
So
what.
he
age,
went
yeah.
with like his older brothers who were like 15 and 13, whatever. So they were like, who gives a shit? And he had to sleep in his older brother's bed for like a month after. He was like, that movie wrecked my life. He was like, I still get freaked out. He was like, you can't talk about the devil around me because like we can't do that.
Yeah.
That's how hardcore The Exorcist was.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Oh man, I mean, my favorite movie is When Harry Met Sally. So I kind of want to say When Harry Met Sally.
Good
just to
one.
That's a good pick.
how that goes. Yeah, but I also think maybe like I also really love John Hughes, and I think it'd be really fun to see like the Breakfast Club.
Yeah,
like the weekend the Breakfast Club came out with like a group of like on like a Saturday night with like a bunch of teenagers. That would have been incredible.
Or Ferris Bueller's, like one of those.
Or Ferris Bueller, that would have been a great time.
I'm surprised, honestly,
Yeah.
Sammy. I am surprised you didn't pick Princess Bride. I figured you'd pick something like more theatrical.
I was thinking that too. Actually,
I was thinking that would have been your pick, but that's
I do
okay.
love Princess Bride.
I was gonna say just because
That
of
one
the
would've been-
cinematic quality
that'd be a
to
good
it,
one.
you know, I thought maybe that'd be yours.
Yeah.
But that's
Oh,
all right.
Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
love. I mean, When
Yeah.
Harry Met Sally, directed by Rob Reiner.
Mhm.
I love Rob Reiner. That one is more like, if I could go back in time, I would like to see like When Harry Met Sally, Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, like the weekend that they came out. But Princess Bride, I'd be okay seeing on a
Yeah.
big screen just like today. You know what I mean?
Today.
I don't need to see it the weekend
Yeah.
it came out.
And I
don't
have
feel
seen
it as a
Exorcist
screen.
in a theater, but I
Nice.
want to see the
Back then.
people. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I want to be in the audience. Yeah.
actual and we in the theater too, but it's not the same.
Mhm.
Yeah, you want to go opening weekend.
Yes.
See how that shit would be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, Mike, dude, thank you so much for being here. I do hope this isn't the last time you come by and see us. This is a lot of fun to have
Definitely.
you, dude. And,
Yeah.
We'll do some cross collaboration. I'll be in touch.
all right, man. Appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for your
Yeah.
time. We do have to
Thank
wrap.
you guys so much.
Yeah, no problem. Do have to wrap up early because of Mike is on a limited time, but we appreciate every bit of it that he's given us.
Yeah.
Cisco, before we go, man, we're really gonna miss you, dude, and thank you so much for everything again. 100%.
A round of applause.
Round of applause for Cisco and all the hard work he's put in for sure. And thank you so much, sir.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
And no problem. And is there any final words you want to say before you leave the show today?
I think we said a lot at the beginning, but just to reiterate, just like it's been an honor and a privilege, and I'm always gonna be a fan of the show, even though I'm not on it, and still gonna support you guys, and I encourage everybody watching and listening to do the same, because it's a great show. It's one of my favorites. So yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Always welcome back.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have you on again. It's not the last time we're ever going to do something together, I'm sure.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Yeah. He's gone, but he's not dying. So it's anyway.
Right.
Well, that got dark. Mike, thanks again, man, so much. Before we go, where can people find you and remind everybody about all the cool, exciting, upcoming things you got going on?
Yeah, we have the Instagram up there, but at what_the_show. I really don't use that a ton on there, but you can find primarily I use the Twitter, the What the Show Pod on Twitter, or you can find me myself, MDeek82. If you're looking for me personally, I actually will interact more on Facebook than I do on Twitter personally, but you can go right ahead. If you find me there, go right ahead. And What the Show, we will have Brother Lomas on Wednesday the 8th. And then on Wednesday the 15th, the 15th, we have Chris Clark, who's going to be on to promote a very special show happening in Los Angeles the night after Schmodown Spectacular. So you can learn all about that on September 15th. And thank you so much for having me on.
No problem, man, and we'll have you back for sure, man. At some point, we'll get in touch. But Cisco, for the last time, man, where can people find you?
So Rampage_Misfit on Twitter, Misfit_Minded. That's my movie pages at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then on Stereo, where you can listen to the show I have on there called Saturday Matinee, and that's where we pair two movies together with a similar theme and stuff. And so this week we're doing Paul Schrader's new movie, The Card Counter, with Oscar Isaac, and pairing that with Taxi Driver. It's the 45th anniversary of that one. So looking forward to revisiting that. And then next week for movie buffs, my other, my action movie podcast I do, we're doing Drive, with Oscar Isaac in a small role. Yes. Coincidentally, but it's the 10-year anniversry of Drive this year.
Holy shit! I didn't realize it was that old.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So and then for the show Saturday Matinee, that the socials, it's Sat Matinee Pod, all across the board. So that's all I got.
Awesome, man. And go follow the poor bastard. Of course, Life Opportunities was a front. I fired him for his takes on Shang-Chi, so make sure you go follow. But at the end of the day, guys, it's been.
That's why I had to leave. Kevin Feige threatened me.
Yeah, that was it.
The Disney checks stop coming in, guys. The Disney checks are real, and they will cut you off quick.
The mouse said the word, and I had to get him out of here. But no, guys, honestly, it's been great having Cisco for all this time. We're really gonna miss him. Thank you again to Mike Deacon. Hope to see him back again. And before we go to Samee, where can people find you?
Samee Ramirez 14 on Instagram, Samee Ramirez on Twitter and Stereo. And then this week we're doing movie night. This week is Shang-Chi review. That's coming out later this week. Check out What the Show podcast and Movie Buffs. And what's your freaking other one? Saturday Matinee.
Yeah.
There we go. How can I forget?
Appreciate that.
Check them all out. They're all great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And thank you to Cisco again.
Yes, 100%.
Salute.
Yeah.
Full salute.
Okay.
And you guys can find me. It's over to the right at Dom_Martino_ and at Anorak or at Anorak's official for the Anorak's Twitter. And then on Instagram, you can find me at Dom_Martino_ official, and then Anorak's official for the Anorak's Instagram. And then also please follow us on Spotify. Very important that you do so. It will allow us to hopefully get some sponsorships in the future and a lot of exciting opportunities. And go follow Sat Matinee Pod and Movie Buffs and all that. You can see me bugging the shit out of Edwin over there. It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. Down to the bottom
Always
right.
appreciate that. Yeah, call in.
Yes, I will.
We love the calls.
I will, for sure, man. And everybody else do the same. And then down to the bottom right here, we got merch.streamelements.com/Anorax. You can find some cool t-shirts and shit over there. They're comfy, I hear. And then there's streamelements.com/Anorax/Chip. If you would like to have your messages read out on video form or podcast form, come on in and bring them over. Otherwise, just come see us on Stereo. It's absolutely free. You can find me at Dom Martino on Stereo. I'm with Jose Espinel every Sunday to do Star Wars Sunday, and we've been doing rewatches of all the films, so check that out for sure as well.
Nice.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been so much fun. Appreciate it all, and we'll